My brothers and sisters, what's going on, everybody? This is Steel Sermon in the house. Monday morning with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links are posted in the box down below. Gonna talk about Javon Hargrave in this one, and I was watching the Super Bowl last night. I hosted a Super Bowl party at my place, so that's why I'm kind of late with this. And I'm not talking about, the very wishy-washy, ticky-tacky call on James Bradbury. Personally, I think that was a terrible call. You can't make a call like that, especially under the 2-minute warning. And regardless of what Bradbury thought, if he did think he was holding him or not, that's not the premise of this video. Gonna talk about Javon Hargrave. I miss him. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I miss him. Because I was keeping an eye on him and admittedly Juju last night. But I think Javon Hargrave, out of the two former Steelers that were in the Super Bowl last night, I think he made a bigger impact than Juju did. Because the Eagles, what do they rely on heavily with their offense? Running the ball, right? How many times did they try the RPOs against Kansas City or how many times did Kansas City try to incorporate Pacheco and McKinnon last night, and they were just stopped dead in their tracks? You saw it way too often, except for the times when Jalen Hurts took some shots down the field, hit Devontae Smith wide open, and then there was that catch by Smith that was called back as well. Personally, I thought that was a catch, but again, that's not the premise. Javon Hargrave really just was there. He was stopping the run. He was like stopping the Chiefs like dead in their tracks, and it's very easy to see why that Javon Hargrave's been a massive contributor to Philly this season. You know? And it just got me thinking throughout the whole time last night. Why did we give up on this guy too early? Because sure, he got off a little bit of a slow start for us, but he had been progressively improving since 2018 with us. He was only getting better, and I was on board with giving him a fifth year, with keeping him and giving him an extension at least for 2020. But no, I mean, we give up on him too early. And that's just a common theme with management here. We give up on guys too early. We hold on to guys too long. I mean, that's just been a common theme with management here. And with Philly this year, I mean, 4.5 sacks, 4.5 sacks, 7.5 sacks. He's had at least 12 sacks since joining the Eagles. I mean, that's really good. I mean, sure, Nick Bosa, who won Defensive Player of the Year, 16, but when you have a guy that can ring up at least 6 sacks and just be a key contributor to your pass rush and be a key contributor to your run blocking and your run stopping, that's a major bonus, and that's why Philly's defense was as good as it was. And I just kept thinking to myself, how great would it be if Javon Hargrave played, opposite of Cam Hayward on our defensive line, and how much better would our rush defense be if Javon Hargrave was still there? Personally, I think if Javon Hargrave was still in Western Pennsylvania, I think we'd easily have a top 10 defense. Maybe even top 5. Because, it just goes to show you last night what an impact that Javon Hargrave has with the rush defense over there in Philly. And it really just shows how good our rush defense could have been in general if we held on to him a little longer. At least gave him a fifth year. So I heard the Eagles might be extending him. And, good for Philly. I mean, you got a massive steal over there with Javon Hargrave on your defensive line, complementing your already stacked defensive line that can ring up 70 sacks apparently. But, I'm the furthest thing from what you would call a player fan. But I'm telling you, in this instance, I would take back Javon Hargrave in a heartbeat. If that means making our defensive line and our rush defense elite. Because you take a look at what we do have as far as our defense, as far as our rush defense goes. Because while I'm not saying that our defense is bad, it's just kind of sus at the same time, especially with the rush defense. That's been our biggest Achilles heel aside from the corners this year as far as our defense goes. But you take a look at our rush defense. I mean, probably Larry Ogunjobi was our best run stopper and maybe Cam Hayward too. But other than that, who else did we really have step up? I mean, Montravius Adams, we hardly saw him there at all. DeMarvin Leal, he's way too young and he needs some time to marinate as well. Tyson Alualo, the guy's getting up there in age. Isaiah Loudermilk, again, barely saw him. So, I mean, who do we really have? And then, of course, the linebackers that can stop the run. I mean, we know Devin Bush has a lot of potential, but he just plays careless. Highsmith, I mean, he can be good with it, but he's more of a physicality linebacker. He's more of a sack-happy quarterback, or a linebacker, rather. Miles Jack, maybe, but again, he's better. He works better in coverage. Malik Reed was absolutely useless this season. Maybe Mark Robinson can be that guy, and maybe Robert Spillane, but Robert Spillane is mainly good for four-down territory type of football and goal line situations, but I just think Javon Hargrave, you put him on our defensive line again, I think this rush defense can look a lot better. Complimenting Larry Ogunjobi, complimenting Cam Hayward, complimenting Highsmith, complimenting Miles Jack. He'd be really solid. And I think our defense would look a lot better if we bring him back on over to Pennsylvania, to Pittsburgh. But it is what it is. All I'm saying is I miss him. I really do. I ain't going to lie. Especially watching how the Eagles were able to limit the Chiefs on the ground so efficiently last night. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. This is Steel Sermon. Checking on out for the day. May God be with you all.